This episode of the Flush Podcast is brought to you by Federal Premium Ammunition and Benelli Shotguns. Welcome to the first ever Flush Podcast. My name is Travis Frank. I'm one of the hosts of our upland bird hunting television show called The Flush. It airs on the Outdoor Channel. And now I'm excited to be the host of this podcast. If you're joining us today, you probably enjoy upland bird hunting, and we hope that we can give you a good experience here. We're not the first upland bird hunting podcast, and we won't be the last, so we just appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your time. It's my hope that we will be able to entertain you, educate you, learn with you, and hopefully inspire you over the course of all of these podcasts to come. And there's nobody more inspiring than the man sitting next to me right now, my friend, Mr. Ron Schara, the biggest legend in his own world. Ron, welcome to the very first Flush Podcast. How does it feel?
I'm honored. I mean, to be voted number one in shooting pheasants isn't that what it is?
Yes, you were voted number one. Yeah. By yourself. Nobody else else had a vote in this one. So
the vote was 1-0.
Yeah.
No, it's exciting. You know, The Flush is a show about upland bird hunting adventures. And the TV is one side of it. The behind the scenes is another. But also, who doesn't want to share some moments out there? Mm-hmm. And you have them. I have them. And so I'm looking forward to being with you for the next 20 minutes or so and talking bird hunting.
Absolutely. You know, this feels different for me to be on this side, if I can get emotional here for a second, because you hired me about 12 years ago.
That was a mistake, wasn't it?
12 years ago, you made the best decision of your life. But now I'm sitting here and I am asking you questions. And to me, something about that seems different.
Well, get over it. I'm feeling very fine about I love to talk the topic, and we've got some stories. You know, I grew up in Iowa, as you were probably going to ask me, and I got started pheasant hunting as a young teenager. Young teenager sort of shouldn't be those two words together, but and got addicted to it. Got addicted to a bird dog. My first one was a Cocker Spaniel, not normally considered a bird dog. Yeah, not trained, but a Cocker Spaniel, as most Spaniels are birdie dogs, just right out of the birth canal. And so, pheasants and I go back a long ways.
Who introduced you to pheasant hunting? Was it your dad? I mean, what is that memory like for you?
No, my dad introduced me to squirrel hunting.
Okay.
He did a little pheasant hunting. He didn't really gravitate to it much, but he took me squirrel hunting, and for that reason, I actually became the best squirrel hunter in Albuquerque County when I was by 13. I had that title already.
You have a lot of titles.
Yeah, and but my dad taught me some very valuable things as a hunter, even though he only had an 8th grade education. Is Ronnie, as we call it, Ronnie, don't be shooting in the nests up there, because if you kill the squirrel up there, he's not going to get out of the nest and you're going to waste him. Ronnie, shoot him in the head with a single shot 22. Don't waste the meat. I don't want you shooting squirrels with a shotgun, because all the pellets take the meat into the hair. And my dad hated that. Mm-hmm. So shoot them in the head, and as soon as they hit the ground, you clean them. It's easier when their body's still warm to skin them, gut them, and do it without getting a bunch of hair on the carcass. So they're almost ready for your mother in the kitchen. So that's what I was brought up. That's the way I was brought up. The only thing he did wrong with, because he thought every hawk was a chicken hawk. I didn't know there was no such thing as a chicken hawk for a long time. But I'll never forget. I was a junior or so, there was a red-tailed hawk sailing over where I was squirrel hunting. He was sailing up there, and I just aimed my single-shot 22 and pulled the trigger, and oh my God, I hit him, and down he came. So I went and found him. He's still alive, and I got, oh, what a beautiful bird it was. I mean, the feathers were just pristine, and he was never going to fly again. I go, oh my God, what did I do? Every hunter, you have those moments. But then I eventually learned as I moved on.
How old, do you remember how old you were?
I was probably 15, 16, right in there.
Hunting on your own?
Yes. I probably should have known better. But when your dad says these are chicken hawks, and when he grew up on a farm, hawks were enemies because the chickens were free roaming and the hawks would get them. And when you're going through the depression like he was, you didn't tolerate that. So every hawk was a chicken hawk.
Yeah.
Well, then I found out later there's no such thing as a chicken hawk. And but anyway, so I got distracted here. But yeah, my dad got me into hunting, but not so much pheasant hunting. It was my mother's brothers that first took me pheasant hunting. And I'm laughing here to myself because they were, I guess, they were the first real road ditch poachers I knew. And of course, your uncle, you keep them high esteem, you know.
Yeah.
If there was a pheasant in the road, my uncle thought nothing of just rolling down the window and cracking them right there, as long as nobody was coming. In Iowa, you couldn't have a loaded gun in the car. Anyway, but I learned that was not the right way to do it either. And
how did you? So there's a lot of generations that don't get that mentality out of them. I've seen those hunters that you're talking about where they see a bird on the side of the road and they just cannot resist the urge to jump out there, load their gun, and chase after it, even if it's not property they can get on. I don't know where this mentality came from and how we get out of it. Some of us have, others maintain that.
Yeah,
and it's a bad image. Obviously, we know today that that's a very bad image for the future of the thing that we love to do the most, which is go hunting. But it happens.
Well, you're right. I think it's probably young people that had the same lessons I did. That you know, what you see, what you live with, you learn. And if your adults are doing this, you assume it's okay. I can't explain exactly why I came to the conclusion that that was not the way to hunt pheasants. I think also a few times you jump out and the bird gets away, you thought, well, that didn't work so good. You know,
Right.
It's more fun to walk some grass and get them flushing that way. But
the reward is so much sweeter.
yeah, there you go. There's that too. So, but you know, back to that question. Philosophically, hunters go through what they say is like 5 different stages, and the first stage would be that guy that jumps out of the road ditch because it's all about killing something. And then the second stage, he might still jump out because now he wants his limit. That's the important thing. Get my limit. Doesn't matter how. Just get my limit. And then the third is maybe now you stop jumping out because now the third is a trophy. So you want that bird with the longest tail or whatever, and then you want to feel good about that, getting that bird that way. So, but those are the stages, and we all go through them. And I'm at a stage now, stage 5, where I tell people, you know, I don't hate the birds as much as I used to.
You appreciate them a little bit more today?
Well, that plus, you know, I can't walk as far as I used to or as fast. I had some eye issues, so the fun of wing shooting kind of went away a little bit as I got older. These are separate stories.
I don't buy that for a second because I've seen you on a good day and you strut like the biggest peacock in the farmyard when you have a good day. So you still enjoy it. I know you do.
I do. It got frustrating though because I got a bad eye, my shooting eye. Anyway, that's another story. But these are the stages you go through. But So as a young boy, I got mesmerized by pheasants through my uncles watching. And then for Christmas,
Well, wait, hold on. Where did you grow up in Iowa?
I grew up in northeast Iowa, a little town called Postville, not too far from Waukon, not too far from Decorah. A lot of people know Decorah because of Luther College, but not for sure, not the heart of pheasant country in Iowa. And here's an interesting sideline is when I was in high school, the best pheasant hunting in Iowa was the northern half of the state. And then something happened to the northern half of the state. It got the richest soil in the world, got plowed up, corn and soybeans, and pretty soon in the would have been the early 70s, the northern Iowa was the worst pheasant hunting, and southern Iowa became the best. It was outside of northwest Iowa kind of survived that. But anyway, so as a boy, I got interested in pheasants. For Christmas, I got a 410 shotgun, single shot with a hammer.
Best Christmas ever, I bet.
And a box of shells. It was a great Christmas. I would just say this, that was the most dangerous gun that you could ever give a kid because you had to pull that hammer back.
Did you guys have firearm safety training back then?
Oh, yeah. Well, Boy Scouts.
Okay.
You got it through Boy Scouts. You didn't need it, but
it wasn't required to get a license.
No.
Okay.
But I had it.
Did you even have to buy a pheasant hunting license back then?
No, not at that age. When you're under 16, you couldn't. But the 410 shotgun, single shot, break action, had a hammer on it, and so when the bird got up, you had to pull the hammer, make sure it clicked, and then pull the trigger, so that some motion's there. Or if you didn't pull the hammer all the way until it clicked and it slipped off your glove, and if you weren't careful about where your finger was in the trigger, it could go right straight forward and hit the firing pin and go off.
Did you ever have it happen?
Yes. So unfortunately, I didn't hit anybody. Didn't want to hit. But anyway, but that I got my first pheasant. I got with that 410, and I can still see it flying. And I can't tell you how many I missed before that. Was lots of them.
Who was with you?
Nobody.
You were by
myself.
yourself.
Yeah. Well, we lived next to the railroad tracks, so it was just a matter of me walking out of the house to going past my secret raspberry patches, which I would not tell my brothers and sisters where they were. I'd come home with a bunch of bowls of raspberries and eat them all myself. And
how many brothers and sisters?
I'm the oldest of 5. They all hate me. Anyway, I would.
That's because he didn't take them hunting or raspberry picking.
I was not going to share my raspberry patch, but I could get out to the railroad tracks. There were a lot of weeds. That's where you see the value of weeds, and that's where I shot my first pheasant back there. But I had missed a lot of them back there, and but I can still see him go down, and I was just so excited. And he was dead when I got to him, smacked with a 410 number 6 shot.
Do you remember when you picked that up? Were you shaking at all? Did you have that adrenaline rush with it? Because I can look back at the first time I harvested a deer.
That was last year, wasn't it?
just a couple months ago.
It
was with my car. And I was shaking. Oh man, no! But I shook. I shook with excitement. I held it. I just kind of sat in that moment for a little bit, and I don't know if that. You probably shot squirrels and other critters before you got that bird, but was there something different about outsmarting that pheasant for you?
Well, just finally hitting one in the air. And of course, it's a beautiful bird, and by myself, and to be able to take it home and show my mom what I got.
Yeah.
I don't remember shaking, but I probably did. I remember shaking when I got one of my first deer. Sadly, that goes away, and maybe that's okay. I don't shake now when I get a pheasant, but maybe sometimes you wish you did.
Right.
But there's still a pleasure to it. Satisfaction maybe is. You did everything right. But I got like I said, I remember my first pheasant. Okay, so time went on. I started hunting by Fort Atkinson, Iowa, and basically you start knowing the farmers, etc., and where the birds are, and it was all great. And I had this Cocker Spaniel I was telling you about, and wasn't trained, but
was it your dog?
Yeah.
It wasn't your brother's sister?
No, it was my dog.
It was your dog.
Taffy was his name. Looked like a piece of taffy. Wonderful dog, and Birdie. But if it got on a pheasant's track, scent, it would take off and running much faster than I could and putting the bird up 100 yards away. But that's what happened. But I can also remember carrying taffy out of snow that was compacted with, they have long hair and she got so much, the balls of snow collecting on her.
Yeah.
She couldn't walk anymore. I had to carry her out. But I'm leading up to the fact that, I have no idea how many birds I've shot over all the years.
How many years have you been pheasant hunting now?
Hang on here. I got to think of my math here. 65.
65 years of chasing pheasants.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot in this country change over that time.
Yeah.
What is the thing that stands out the most to you in that time?
Well, as I told you, my home state of Iowa, how the pheasants went from a lot in northern Iowa to nothing in northern Iowa. Then I went to Iowa State University where I remember a grad student was studying about why there weren't any pheasants in southern Iowa. And it was, this was before there were still some birds in northern Iowa. And they thought it was the mineral content, etc. But basically it was a habitat issue because now there are pheasants in southern Iowa. So you see a lot of changes, but I took up fish and wildlife biology and journalism at Iowa State University, and so I was hanging around that kind of atmosphere. But then I went to work for South Dakota Game and Fish Department. Now that was eye-opening because my first year out there, the first fall, it was one of the lowest populations in South Dakota's history.
Really?
Yeah. Yet, I never seen so many birds. So it was all relative.
Right.
I remember my job partly was to find some non-resident hunters out there and take a picture of them and send it to their hometown newspaper. That was our marketing back then. And I found these guys from Warrensburg, Missouri. There were see.
This
10,
would be like the 70s?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, no, it was late 60s.
Okay.
There were 10 of them from Warrensburg, Missouri. And it took them from from noon to 3 to get their 30 birds. And they were disappointed. This is awful. Wow. This is just terrible. I go, what? Because I went with them. I go, holy cow, I've never seen so many birds in the air. Right. I mean, this is great. And they were disappointed. And the next day they went somewhere else, and I didn't go with them the next day, but the next day they got their 30 birds in an hour, and they thought, that's more like it now. And they could go back to the motel room, drink whiskey, and play cards. That's really part of what they like to do, too. But, so everything's relative there. But so I went back to Iowa and visited an old place I did a lot of hunting while I was in college, and excited to be back in my home state. And the season opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. So we get there, got a nice area, we're going to hunt. And I get my gun out. Now I have a black lab. Pedge was his name. And I just, not very far out of the truck, and Pedge gets Birdie, and oh my God, out of this tufted grass flies this big, beautiful rooster pheasant, cackling like they do. And I go, oh, isn't this great? I raise my shotgun up and I pull the trigger once, twice. I never touch a feather on that damn thing. I can still see it flying away.
Some things never change, huh?
Well, what's interesting is, you can remember the first bird you got. You don't remember a lot of the other birds that you got after that. But I remember this one I missed.
Yeah.
How many times do you remember a bird you missed? But I do.
Oh, well, now you have recorded a lot of those misses on television, so a lot of people remember the birds that you've missed.
I never thought of that.
30 years now, they've been watching you miss on TV. Let's move forward a little bit. You got this grand idea that, you transitioned to being the outdoor newspaper scribe for the Minneapolis Star Tribune, and you did that for
29 years.
29 years. In that process, you launched your first television show.
Mm-hmm.
What was going through your mind, and why did you want to make outdoor television?
Well, I mean, TV was where it's at, so to speak. And I watched some of the fishing shows, and there was a few hunting shows. There weren't as many outdoor shows as there is now. But most of them were like, I'm gonna kiss a bass here. Watch me catch another one, and watch me catch another one. And I said to myself, being a journalist, I go, the TV star could be in the field with the most interesting person in the world, but he never even tell you who it was, or he might be in a boat with the. I kept saying to myself, I could do it better. So, because I'm a storyteller, and so that I said. Storytelling is survived the test of time. We told stories on the cave walls with figurines. Your mother had you laying in bed and said, Travis, once upon a time, and you laid there and listened to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Stories are magical. So I said, I'm going to do a TV show that is emphasize stories and a variety, because you may not like the story about the greatest state park in Minnesota, but you might like the fact that we're going to have another topic coming up.
Right.
So the Flush in some ways is similar to that.
Well, this show was called Minnesota Bound. For people that may be listening right now in, let's say, California, they don't know that Minnesota Bound is a show. So you aired this show called Minnesota Bound on the NBC network here in Minnesota, and amazingly, that show is still on the air today.
25 years, can you believe that?
Isn't that incredible?
It is.
Incredible. There you go. We have one of our editors in the back room. He's got something on the wall that says, fads come and go, but a story will last forever.
There you go.
And it's true. And the stories, these outdoor stories, so you decided then that you're going to expand from Minnesota Bound. And what was the next show?
Oh, the next show was an interesting one because Jerry McInnes, who just passed away, had his own fishing show, good show with a dog. He had a dog too. Ran into him. I knew him. Ran into him, and I said to him one day, I said, Jerry, I said, I'm trying to do what you're doing. And he says, what's that? I said, I'm getting into television. He said, oh, you are, yeah. He says, send me a tape, what you're doing. I go, okay, I will. So I sent him some tapes, a couple shows, didn't hear anything. Then I get a phone call from him one day. He says, Ron, he says, I really like the storytelling. I like what you're doing here. He says, do you mind if I show this to ESPN? And I said, yeah, I should mind. No. Right. So, and the next phone call I get is from ESPN. They said, we like the storytelling. We'd like you to do a show for us called Backroads. Backroads with Ron and Raven. Now, Raven was my partner on the Minnesota Bound TV show, a black lab, beautiful black lab wearing a red bandana. The damn dog never said anything, and now I'm sharing equal billing with this dog.
Everybody wants to know about the dog.
Yeah, that was the start of it. And then down the road to get to the Flush actually first began as Pheasants Forever television. Mm-hmm. I did that because, I have a conservationist side of me. And Pheasants Forever, the organization, was founded on protecting grasslands, pheasant habitat for other kind of wildlife. And so I approached them and said, let's really do a TV show to explain people what the heck you're about and how valuable grasslands are for all kinds of wildlife. So for years, Pheasants Forever, our show was called Pheasants Forever Television, and then down the road we decided that's kind of a, not the most exciting title of a show, Pheasants Forever Television. So we decided, I think Bill Shirk and yourself came up with The Flush, basically the same show, just a little more exciting title. And we used to do a lot of habitat stories, and then it finally dawned on me the viewer in Chicago, there's no way he doesn't have any land to do any habitat. So
right. It was kind of I wasn't actually a part of that transition from Pheasants Forever Television, but I do remember when it happened because I was here at that time. But I remember Bob St. Pierre at Pheasants Forever, Joe Dugan, I think Howard Vincent was here, and it was just this conversation that said, we are watching our membership base here at Pheasants Forever age, and we're not adding that next generation. So what can we do? And I think the group together came up with this idea. Let's show some adventure. Let's show, some stories about opportunities out there, public lands, different things that anybody can partake in.
No, it was good. It was a good decision. Decision.
Yeah. And so I'm fortunate today that I get to be a part of it, and I've been, producing and co-hosting alongside you and Bill and Scott.
We're sending you to all the rugged areas where you're up and down, because you're a young buck, you can handle it.
Yeah, well, I'll never forget some of those views. I just got back from Nevada not too long ago, and at 7,000 feet, snow was pelting me in the eye, and I looked at the cameraman who had basically taped up his entire both feet because they were all blistered. He didn't. Oh, it was brutal. I felt so bad, but then all of a sudden the dog goes on point, and there's something about when a dog goes on point that you just forget everything else.
Of course,
and everybody just they just move at a different speed. So that kind of brings us to today's show. I mean, in a roundabout way, we've talked about Iowa quite a bit, but this week we are currently launching our television show, The Flush, one episode a week. We're streaming on our YouTube channel. It's going up on Amazon. Originally, the show airs on the Outdoor channel, but right now we're in the off season for airing on that network, and our shows are now going up one time a week on our streaming services. And your episode on the most recent hunt you did in Iowa is next on the list. So basically, to find the shows, I mean, you can go to YouTube and do The Flush TV. You can go to theflush.tv. Any of our social media channels to find it. You'll find links to be able to watch it. But your episode, you get to go back to Iowa. When was the last time you hunted Iowa prior to this one? Who did you hunt with, and what stood out to you?
I don't know how long. It's been probably a decade since, we've kind of avoided Iowa, and for good reason. But we got word that the extreme southwest part of the state, right near Nebraska and Missouri, Iowa had a comeback of explosion of birds, pheasants there, and as well as quail. So I think, through discussion with you, etc., they decided, hey, Ron, go back to your old home state and see what you find. And I'll be very blunt here. I didn't find much, but I did find a tremendous amount of grass habitat that was not there before. And there were some reasons for that. The only problem was some of it was public land, which is okay, but it had been, I think, beat pretty good by pheasant hunters. We just didn't flush much. But
I remember you came back from that, and it was just unseasonably beautiful out. And you said,
it was.
Oh, it's the most beautiful grass I've walked in years, and yet I didn't flush much. So part of your thought was maybe that the birds were out in the crop fields and they just weren't in the grass when you guys were walking there.
Well, that happens, as any experienced pheasant hunter knows, that early in the morning, sometimes you're just having breakfast. Those birds leave the grass roosts where they roost, grass areas, and they fly out to the corn, pick corn, hopefully picked by then. And if it's nice out there, if there's no bad wind and whatever, so the birds can feel comfortable out there, they don't like to have their feathers ruffled by the wind. So they'll just hang out there, and they'll come back into the grass at sunset when you're probably out of there and going to get a cheeseburger and a beer,
Right.
So that could have happened then. The other thing is some of the grasslands I found down there, I was led to by Iowa Conservation Game and Fish people, as well as the PF people, were massive, and there's just a few of us. And when there's just 5 or 6 of you line up in this grass field that's almost a half section, well, the birds will run around you like crazy. You're not even aware of that. And you're flushing hens, just hen. Well, that's because hens aren't so apt to run all the time as roosters are. So that's going. Then the other question was, are they out? Are they not in this grass, which they apparently weren't? And the other is maybe it's public. It's been beat up pretty good. So all the dumb birds are dead,
You guys, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, though, at the same time, because you found birds when you were there, too. I mean,
we found a few.
Yeah. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the story about you really dug back into Iowa's history and explained where it once was, what it is today, and the potential there. Did you go back to your hometown and take a look?
No. My hometown was not in pheasant country. But, Iowa's pheasant history is intriguing. It's also a sad reflection on what we've been doing to the land. And it's also a sad reflection of what kind of Mickey Mouse for federal farm programs we have. Because when CRP came in, first it was soil bank, but then CRP, Conservation Reserve Land, came in. Iowa farmers, they liked the program. Corn was not that much money. The federal government was offering competitive payments per acre. So Iowa had all this CRP land, grassland. And the pheasants respond to this. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
It doesn't take long.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand this. So right. Iowa's pheasant population, get this, Travis, boomed to such extent that for a few years, Iowa and South Dakota were neck and neck on pheasant harvest and pheasant hunters out there. That's how good it was. It was almost, if not the equal of South Dakota.
I believe it.
Well, government giveth and government taketh away. Suddenly, other ethanol came in, some other things. Oh my God, this is the CRP is expensive. Government wanted to reduce so much tax money. Anyway, a lot of things. Pretty soon, CRP goes out. Farmers are very happy now growing corn, soybeans, $7 a bushel corn, in life grand. They're going to plow up stuff they never even thought of plowing up. And the bird population went, I can't remember the figures, but the bird population went so much in the tank that I think it was Iowa at one time had over 250 or 300,000 pheasant hunters buy licenses, and the last time it was under 100,000. So you're not going to buy a license to hunt if nothing's there.
That expands way outside of Iowa's boundaries, too. I mean, it's the same in Minnesota and the Dakotas and Nebraska. I mean, you name it.
Minnesota pheasant hunters have been declining because, I mean, we've got some birds, but, they dropped 17% this year or last year. South Dakota down 17%. Iowa down further. If you hear that news, does that make you want to get up and buy a hunting license? No.
But some people, it does. It still does. I mean, it's not. There are programs out there today that didn't exist years ago. I mean, you've got just a massive picture, a big picture view of America's conservation program and the upland bird hunting and pheasants in general. But I talk to people. I meet people all the time, as you do as well, that they're getting into it for the first time and they're hunting on public grounds. And now we have programs like the IHAP in Iowa. I recently hunted in Iowa as well. And Iowa, let's see, what is it? IHAP, Iowa Hunter Access Program. I believe it stands for down there too. And it's landowners that have put their land back into grass, and it's private land, but it's open to the public, funded by you and I, hunters. The license dollars goes to that. So it's not what it once was.
Well, that's all good. I mean, that's wonderful. And there are a lot of pheasant hunters who they know it's going to be slow, or they know it's going to be tough, but they go anyway.
Yeah.
They have a dog at home. 90% of their joy anyway is watching their dog. So I get all that.
Yeah.
I'm okay. But the fact is, you still, if you just thought that was wonderful, you don't have to carry a shotgun out there. You do want to fire. You do want to shoot. You do want to eat some pheasants. They're good eating. And so it's got to be a little bit of both. But you're right. There are some programs now that hopefully will stabilize pheasants in Minnesota, Iowa, and the Dakotas. And who knows what the federal farm programs are going to be down the road. But if CRP comes back in any kind of form, you can rest assured the birds will too. Pheasants will respond to that. So that's the good news. But my Iowa flush, you said you enjoyed watching the show. You're a fool. I waxed poetic a little bit because it was my boyhood state and its sad history, both a happy history and a sad history. And we didn't see a lot of birds die, but we've both said the flush isn't about seeing birds fall out of the sky left and right. But you have to see some.
Correct.
And that was a challenge just to see some. And then you make some mistakes. We did some quail hunting too, and there were quail. But the exuberance of my host, he invited his buddy who had a flushing dog. And he had pointers. And they hunted together. Well, I didn't think anything of it, but it soon dawned on me that is a bad idea when you're hunting quail and you're trying to film it, because the camera guy's got to have a little notice when a bird's going to go up in the air, and the pointer will give you that. Flushing dogs know. And quail have a strong odor, I know, to a hunting dog. I've seen my dogs respond to it. And so these flushing dogs, oh my God, they got into some quail running along the shelter or the woody tree line. Yep. And the guy couldn't hold them back, and boom, there goes the quail out there, almost out of shotgun range, and the camera guy is just standing and go, what?
I'm constantly amazed. The most magical thing that I've ever seen happen out in the wild is when a cameraman shows up, how quickly everything can disappear. It's amazing how many miles we have to put on to capture a wild bird in the wild. And people say, oh yeah, it must be easy. You go out there and you walk a little bit and birds just keep getting up left. No, they're wild birds. You're in the elements. Is no controlling the scenario at all.
That's the burden we carry.
Yep. And we've done it. You've done it for 25 plus years, and we have a lot more stories to get into. I want to talk to you about your dog. I want to talk to you about getting your daughters into hunting, some of the people you've hunted with over the years. So I think we're just kind of scratching the surface here with the Flush podcast, and I'm excited to be able to just have this opportunity to kind of go in depth into some of these things. We will do our best to entertain each week, get a new podcast up. Ron, I know you're heading somewhere warm here in a few hours, and we may not see you again for a few weeks. So I wish you the best on your southern...
You're lying right now.
On your southern journey.
You're lying right now.
I'm just trying to get you to come back.
You want to be there.
Yeah, I'll be visiting in 2 weeks, so I hope you have a guest bedroom. But I do appreciate you listening to the Flush Podcast. You can watch Ron's episode now live on our YouTube channel. Head on over to theflush.tv, and we will see you next time on the Flush Podcast.